math teacher. Senator Rand Paul says a plan to fix our nation's tax system is a good start, but he is proposing one giant step further, demonstrated with a chainsaw that's now being made public for the first time. Watch. There's part of the spot, and here is now Senator Rand Paul, live in Washington. How are you, Senator? Good morning to you. It's the first time we have seen it, and welcome here. What's your idea?
Good morning. Well, you know, the tax code's 70,000 pages long, and we think it's killing American jobs. So we thought we'd have a contest at randpaul.com to see how people would want to kill the tax code. I think my favorite was actually taking a chainsaw to the tax code.
So you got Jimi Hendrix there. And
yeah,
you've got an
Jimi
idea.
Hendrix was a nice touch. Nice touch.
You've got an idea of 14.5%.
One
now,
single rate, fill out your tax return on one page.
I got you. Just let me get to the question. What does that do, in your view, to the U.S. economy?
I think it would take off like gangbusters. The Tax Foundation has looked at this and said it would create 1 million jobs. So I think a single flat rate of 14.5%, people would want to move to America. Right now we have the reverse. American companies are moving overseas to get away from the tax code. I want companies all around the world to move to America because we have a tax code that is one that entices and invites people. And we've got the opposite now.
There are 5 other candidates on my list for the Republican nomination already. John Kasich will be the 5th later today, who also support a flat tax. I'm looking at Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, Rick Perry, and Rick Santorum. So what is so different?
Ours is unique in that it also eliminates the payroll tax. Under our tax plan, if you make $40,000 a year, you're not going to pay a payroll tax. That'd be $2,000 that won't come out of your check. In the past, people have said, oh, a flat tax, that's only for rich people. What's going to happen under mine is everybody will benefit, including the working class. So someone making $40,000 will get $2,000 more in their check every year.
Okay, so perhaps the better question is whether or not you would support their tax plan. Would you?
I haven't seen any of theirs yet, but I've always been in favor of a much flatter, simpler tax code. But I think we have the best one because we get rid of the payroll tax. We have a low rate, 14.5%, and you can fill out your tax return on one page.
Did you sharpen the blades on that chainsaw? Did you do that too?
You know, I have my own chainsaw, and I do quite a bit of work in my backyard, but that's the one thing I don't do is sharpen the chain. I need a little help for that.
I got it. Yeah, me too. Thank you for that. Another issue here. You were tweeting last night about defunding Planned Parenthood, and just this morning, we got more disturbing video of a senior executive from Planned Parenthood talking about selling body parts and the price that you would acquire for the body part of an infant. It is disturbing, as you know. This is what you sent on Twitter. Not one penny of your money should fund disrespect for human life. Help me fight to #defund Planned Parenthood. What can you do, Senator?
I'm going to do everything I can to stop it. And I also am going to bring this to the American public. I think Republicans have run away from the abortion issue. This is baby parts we're talking about. We're talking about doctors who are trying to preserve certain parts by not crushing them while they crush a baby's head in the rest of the procedure, and then they're going to sell the body parts. This is gruesome, and I think most Americans, even those who think they're pro-choice, would be aghast to know that we're selling body parts and that they're cavalierly sipping wine and eating brie and talking about selling body parts. It's unconscionable, and I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
And you're not accepting the apology that came out from Planned Parenthood on Friday?
No, and here's the thing that people need to know. Everything that Planned Parenthood does other than abortion is done by community health clinics. There is no reason in the world to have Planned Parenthood other than abortion. No taxpayer dollars should go to it because they are indirectly, if not directly, paying for abortion. All of the stuff that Planned Parenthood says they do for people, it can be done through community health clinics, which have gotten a ton of money in the last few years. We should stop all funding for Planned Parenthood.
Not in that answer, but in the answer before that, you said some people are moving away from this issue, or running away from it, I think is the phrase you used. Americans, or Republicans, or Democrats specifically?
I think all of the public is a little bit squeamish, and they're like, oh, people kind of disagree on this. The state has a function. I'm for a very small government, but the state has a function in protecting life. And we can't just rip apart babies and pass out different parts of the baby for sale. So this is an issue that I think even people who think they're pro-choice are not for sort of taking out whole babies and then distributing the parts to different people for money. I think this is ghastly, and when people hear about it, many people are going to change their mind about whether or not maybe the government ought to be involved in preventing this.
This story literally is 49 minutes old. More to come on this. Quickly, Donald Trump has surged to an enormous lead. Well, enormous. He's at 24%. The next candidate is at 13%. Scott Walker, Jeb Bush at 12%. What is it specifically about Donald Trump that is tapping into many Americans at the moment, Senator?
It could be the free $1 billion of publicity he's gotten by being on every channel all the time. And so I think there are a lot of other interesting ideas. We talked about one this morning, a flat, simple tax code, 14.5%. And I think if I could just get $1 billion worth of free TV, I think maybe we'd get the same kind of surge. But this is going to happen throughout the campaign. It's going to be a long year process. And I think what you're going to find is that many people will, once their ideas are put out to the public, are going to have a chance. And right now, one individual is getting that chance. But I think you'll find that people are going to look at all of the candidates before making a decision.
We shall see in time. Senator, thank you for your time today. Rand Paul there in Washington. Thanks, Martha.
Well, the DEA